Let me bring in Tony Dungy, Football Night in America. Tony, we're busy on Sunday, right?
We are busy sometimes on Sunday. Seems like we have a lot going on.
Yeah. And, and if your phone rings, it might be your wife. But other than that, you're watching TV, watching the games. We're getting ready for Football Night in America.
We're trying to do our job, Dan.
Yeah. Well, now Tony Dungy's mad at you, Fritzy, because you called me yesterday.
Now you guys are just ganging up on me now.
All right. Are the Cowboys for real, Tone?
I think the Cowboys are playing great football, maximizing what they do. I still think they have some holes on defense that Rod Marinelli is kind of covering up with smoke and mirrors. To do what they did last night without really a great pass rush and with Morris Claiborne getting hurt so early in the game, I was amazed they were able to hold New Orleans down like that. But the way they're playing, the style they're playing, I think they're very effective.
Well, they're running the football and not taking chances offensively. So, and at least they're not, putting themselves out of the game. They're staying in the game because of those things. I don't know how good they are, but then I don't know how good the NFC East is this year either, aside from Philadelphia.
Well, and Philadelphia has issues. We were going to talk about that on the post-game show last night. We ran into some technical problems. But I know Chip Kelly, and I know what he wants to do is run the ball. LaShawn McCoy probably is the best back in the league right now, and they got 22 yards yesterday. So they've got some issues O-line wise. Their defense is not great. The Giants are coming back on, and they look like they're clicking on offense now. But I think it's going to be a race all the way down the wire. And 2 weeks ago, I would not have said that in the NFC East.
You said yesterday you like Kansas City tonight against New England. Why?
I do. I just think that New England's problems really play into Kansas City's strength. Offensive line has struggled in pass protection. Kansas City's got a great rush, especially at home with the noise. And Kansas City can run the football. They did it with Niall Davis last week. Charles is supposed to be back. Patriots have had problems stopping the run, so I just think this really is going to play into a tight game. I like Kansas City's chances tonight at home.
Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joining us, Dan Patrick Show. It seems like every week or every other week we're talking about Geno Smith and the Jets and Michael Vick. I had to pin you down last night, but you said if you're going to win now, then you put in Michael Vick. This is the NFL, and it's about winning now. So why wouldn't you make that move?
Well, it's not always about winning now. It's all, if you draft a quarterback high and you say this is our quarterback of the future and we can win a ton of games, we're going to play him. Peyton Manning, I think all these quarterbacks should play when you take them early. You draft Blake Bortles, I don't understand why he was not playing. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't understand why he was not playing. But if you are going to build for the future, you say put these guys in. But if you're going to win right now and say, I've got to make it to the playoffs, you got a quarterback that's been to the playoffs, and he would play better right now than Geno Smith, I believe.
Well, I would start Vic, but I thought Vic was going to start this season. I just don't know if Geno Smith is a franchise quarterback, and B, if you're going to put him in, is he that much better than Michael Vick? So I'm on record as saying at least give Vic a chance. And I think what it does, it's going to answer the question for a lot of people when they say, well, put in Vic, he gives you a better chance. And Michael will make mistakes. He'll get sacked, probably get hurt. But does he give you a little bit more of he gives you more options to be able to win. Plus, he's already been in this position before. So that's why I'd probably lean towards Vic, whether that's a good reason or reasons or not.
Well, you heard Geno in the soundbite that we had last night. Hey, I'm learning. I'm growing through these things. I can't make these kind of mistakes. He is learning and growing, and that's what happens with young quarterbacks. The only way they're going to grow is to play, but do you want them to grow at the expense of winning games? And that's what's happened these first couple of weeks for the Jets.
How long does it take before you know if a guy is your quarterback or not, a true, legitimate starting quarterback?
Well, with the real great ones, with Andrew Luck, I saw it in the first practice that I saw with the Colts. So sometimes it happens right away. Other times it's different. We went through that same thing. My first year in Tampa, they had drafted Trent Dilfer with the sixth pick in the draft, the year before I got there. And they said, hey, we have to find out. And we're going to play Trent no matter what because we have to know. And he did develop. We went 1-8 the first 9 games. and then he came on and he played better, and we were a playoff team the next year. But that was an organizational decision that we made, and we were going to stick with him no matter what. And sometimes you can do that if you're a building team. I don't know if you can do that if you're trying to get to the playoffs that year, and that's the goal.
Blake Bortles, Teddy Bridgewater. I thought both looked good. Bridgewater at home, Bortles, tough place in San Diego. And, it makes you wonder, as you said, if you're drafting him to play and they're ready to play, then you put him in. And these are two franchises that aren't going anywhere. So at least you're putting them in and you're building towards the future. The Jets are built to win now, Tone. That's the difference with this.
That's the difference. That's exactly the difference. And, Jacksonville, you take Bortles, you're not going to the playoffs this year. Put him in, let him grow, and that mobility that he showed yesterday, that gives you a chance with the offensive line you have. Teddy Bridgewater, you drafted him. You're not going to the playoffs this year. Put him in. He played with great poise. I was shocked by how well he played. I thought he was going to play well. He played even better than I thought he would.
Yeah, I like him. I like the kid, and I'm glad to see him get a chance. And they got the short week. They got Green Bay on Thursday night. J.J. Watt, defensive MVP candidate here, league MVP candidate here. Your thoughts on J.J.?
I see league MVP candidate. I think back to Alan Page, Joe Green, guys that just dominated the game. And then he is, they're not playing great on offense. Aaron Foster hasn't gotten going yet. They've got 3 wins, and it's basically because of their defense and J.J. Watt. So, I think you have to talk about him as an MVP candidate. And if the season ended right now, he'd be in the discussion.
I'd love to have seen him play in the 60s or 70s because he has sort of that. He has that attitude of, man, I just want to tear your head off. And, rules don't allow you to be that kind of personality now. But, man, he's got a throwback style to him.
Can you imagine him if they allowed the head slap? Now, with those long arms and those fast hands, he would be dangerous.
Is it just a matter of time, Dennis Allen, with the Raiders? There was the initial report he was going to be fired. They've lost 10 in a row. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Does this change anything if you fire the guy?
Well, I don't think it really changes anything this year. I don't think it's going to help the team. But they had a little bit of life in New England last week and had a chance to win that game. But other than that one game, they really haven't shown any improvement. So as much as I don't like to see coaches go, I think they're going to have to do something.
Good to visit with you, Tone. Safe travels back to Tampa.
All right, DP. We'll see you next Sunday. If we can, do our work without being bothered, it'll be great, huh?
Yeah. Thank you, Tony.